Good afternoon, my fellow Americans. I would like to begin by saying a thank you to everyone that voted for me so that I could get to this position here today. Now, when our country declared for independence on July 4th of 1776, our founding fathers believed in the specific ideas which they laid out in our governing body of law, which we know as our Constitution. They promised to the people of this great nation that they would promote the general welfare for all who resided here. In saying this, our founding fathers believed that the basis of our economy relied on taxing the people and promoting trade in as many ways as they could possibly imagine. Being an American at that time meant participation in this trade and economy. Throughout the past 242 years, the definition of this promotion has evolved into the protection of our domestic and foreign assets in order to grow our own economy. When France was in dire need of money to fund their war, Napoleon offered the U.S. a bargain not even we could refuse. 15 years ago, the great Thomas Jefferson purchased a piece of land spanning hundreds of thousands of square miles in order to give the people of this country a chance. In doing this, Jefferson more than doubled our land size in order to acquire the vital trading port of New Orleans and give Americans the opportunity to have a fresh start in this country. When our economy finally started to prosper during the Industrial Revolution, the government continued to follow through on their promise to provide opportunity to the people and for the people. This promise was still in effect late into the 19th century when the government enacted tariffs in order to promote the use of domestically made goods, when it provided land grants of tens of thousands of square miles to railroad companies so that our nation could be connected, and when it forcibly removed the native Indians from their lands in order to provide more western land for farmers and miners. The government made the people believe that it would do what it could in its power to ensure the success of America's economy and the people that take part in it. However, in the early 20th century, America's economy no longer completely relied on the homeland, and it was now reliant on our foreign assets as well. With no policy in order to protect these assets, the great Theodore Roosevelt issued the Roosevelt Corollary to the Senate and to the House of Representatives. He stated we would interfere with them only in the last resort, and then only if it became evident that their inability or unwillingness to do justice at home and abroad had violated the rights of the United States or had invited foreign aggression to the detriment of the entire body of American nations. By making this statement, President Roosevelt instantly changed the meaning of what it meant to provide for the general welfare by now including the protection of U.S. foreign assets into that meaning. With this protection of foreign assets now in place, and with very little foreign assets, the U.S. signed GATT along with 22 other nations in order to provide free trade between them. This promotion of international trade was a way to eliminate or decrease trade barriers like tariffs and quotas that were holding many nations back from international trade. And so, my fellow Americans, over the next 4 years, I promise to you that I will dedicate much of my time to continuing this promotion of the general welfare through trade in order to continue our upward economic trend. And I hope that by the end of my presidency, I can reestablish trade with nations such as Russia and North Korea so that we can mutually benefit with the exchange of goods. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I say that everyone needs to get up and stand up for the rights that they believe in. Go to the polls, cast a meaningful vote because every vote does matter, and one citizen who chooses not to vote can cost another citizen their livelihood. In the past, we have been so focused on promoting our domestic agenda that we forgot that promoting foreign economies was a necessary piece in order to grow our own. With that said, the Marshall Plan was enacted after World War II, and Europe's economy recovered by 1950. Nobody could foresee the positive effects that this would have on our own economy. And today, the U.S. is in fantastic economic shape with only one blemish, the trade wars. This trade war was started by my predecessor, and I vow to abolish the tariffs that he put in place and reverse the negative impact his policies had on the global economy. I intend to restore the U.S. to its economic glory over the next 4 years so that the U.S. can reclaim its rightful place as the world's economic superpower and provide for every nation just as it has provided for itself. And so when the great Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, I say that I fear a time when great prosperity like today becomes another Great Depression. And I have a dream that this day will never come. I have a dream today. I have a dream that America will forever live on in its great economic prosperity. Thank you.